Hey guys, Muncheez here, and today we're going to go over some tips for learning Clown Gate 3. I'll go over some of the mechanics briefly, but I'll highlight the points and go in slow-mo as I usually do. But before you start the gate, we're going to start off with some things to prep before you enter. So you want to bring whirlwinds to help with the stagger when you're doing a Mario run. You want to bring sacred bombs to break some CC, so if someone gets feared or something while they're trying to get into the Mario portal or stunned or whatever, you can break them out with a sacred bomb so they make it in so you don't wipe. And you want to decide who's doing what Mario Gate, and you also want to have a dedicated bingo pinger. So one person, they'll be like I ping or you ping or someone ping bingo, and someone will ping the bingo spots for you at the end at the hidden phase. All right, so we're going to head in here and we're going to start the fight. All right, so the first thing you do when you get in is you're going to work him down to 158 bars. At 158 bars, he's going to start the first Mario. So whoever calls out M1 or is doing Mario 1, this is going to be your gate. So before the Mario gate spawn, he will usually drop two circus balls on the ground, like so, and they will have an aura around them, like the circle. So you can use this to build your meter. I recommend getting to about half. So before your Mario gate comes up, try to get your mayhem meter to about half here. So when the clown doll gets spawned, you don't have to sit in the clown doll and tank a bunch of damage. You can just use these to build your meter. So if you see these and you need to get meter before your Mario gate, do so. So now, after he spawned these circus balls, he's going to do this thing where he like kind of draws a pentagram on the ground. The whole stage is going to light up red. A whole bunch of crazy stuff's going to go on, and a like a little turret dummy is going to spawn. So as you can see here, it spawned at the top left. Now when it spawns, it's going to jump. So once it spawns, it's going to jump to it's going to jump towards the party in some way. Generally, sometimes it'll jump to a random spot away from the party, but for the most part, it'll always jump towards the party. So make sure you kind of hold off on all the AoE or do anything crazy so you don't kill the dummy as it's coming out, because the person's going to need to grab meter to turn into a clown to enter the Mario gate. So hold your DPS when the doll spawns. Also, another tip for gaining meter from the doll, like while it's breathing fire, don't hug the doll and try to follow it around. Try to get the meter from the outer ring of the fire, if that makes sense, like further away. There's a much bigger hitbox at the end of the flame rather than where it starts from when it's spitting it out. Now, when the first Mario gets inside, or whenever the Mario gets inside, you're going to get this curse. So you're going to want to call this color out. It's going to be R, B, or Y, red, blue, or yellow. If you're colorblind, just learn the shapes and then just correlate the shapes with the colors. So red's going to be star, blue's going to be a diamond, and yellow's going to be a triangle. So you can still call out the colors for people even if you're kind of off with the colors. So after you do this, you're going to head into the first Mario run. Now, a tip for me is just to wait to move before you do this, or you can just move straight down. But generally just wait to move, like the curtains go all the way up. So when you're doing this, generally I always make my way towards the bottom, because there's always one last one that spawns, this one right here on the left row. And once that one passes, it's safe to usually just dash through and just book it to the boss. There's another path that goes straight to the middle, but that one's kind of risky sometimes. So I kind of avoid doing that and I just stick to the bottom path. And when you get to him, you can just start staggering him and free the person inside of the Iron Maiden. So this is where you would use your whirlwind bombs or whatever. Now, the second Mario usually starts at around 128. As you can see, my party's damage is a little bit high. So normally if you have high damage, he'll just go into one Mario to the next, to the next, to the next. So this is already Mario 2. So whoever's doing Mario 2 usually builds their meter from the first set of circus balls or the first turret to about like 50%. So when this one comes out, you're pretty much almost ready to go in. You want to watch out for the hooks and take note of where the hooks spawn, because hooks will come from either the top left of the map or the top right of the map. And you don't want to be trying to build your clown gauge to full, the mayhem meter to full, to turn into a clown, and then you get hooked. And you don't make it to the middle because that would be a wipe. So Same thing happens here. The Mario 2 got their full meter. They went in and we killed the doll. And it's important to note that once he hits 90 bars of health, he gets like the shield where he takes like massively reduced damage. So once he hits roughly to about 90 bars, you don't have to worry about DPSing him anymore. You can just focus on staying alive. Now, the second Mario run, there's just the one big saw in the middle heading towards the Iron Maiden, and then it's just going to be all chains. So, a tip for this one that I have, so on the second Mario run, when you guys are running through this, pretty much just if there's chains headed towards you and there's like no gap in between the chains to run through, don't be scared to backtrack, because backtracking is actually better than getting hooked by one of these. So they will spawn in like from like every direction, 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 7 o'clock, like just everywhere. So you want to find the gaps in them if you can. And if you can't find the gaps in them, so as you can see here, I actually don't have any gaps here. And I didn't want a chance going in the fire and getting hooked by the bottom one. So I actually backtrack and go back around. And once they pass, you have free reign to pretty much just run straight to the boss from wherever you're at. So you can throw your whirlwind bomb to start, and then you can just start staggering him, and you'll have plenty of time. And if whoever's doing your Mario 2 is also quick, they can also come and help once they get out, and it makes it pretty easy. So from here, he's going to start Showtime. So he's going to jump to the middle of the map, and you guys kind of want to there's different ways to do this, but generally it's safe just to group together at first, because you can like get heals out, do whatever you want. So kind of group up at the start, and then you kind of groups kind of evolved over time, so you kind of like split up now and just run around, and you can see who he's targeting. So whoever that first shotgun cone is targeting, that's the person that's going to have to stand in front of the bomb here. So as you can see, he faces me, so I'm the shotgun cone target. So I know that he's targeting me with the shotgun cone. And if you notice, I have like a little target over my head. So these targets drop bombs on the floor. You want to drop these on the outer ring as best as you can before moving in, because these are kind of hazardous to the middle. Generally, people will Inanna here to be extra safe, and it'll just get rid of all your meter, and it provides a free heal at the end too, and you don't have to worry about getting knocked around or anything like that. So he's going to do like a series of yellow ring attacks, and then once it gets to the center, which is this one right here, he's going to spawn a bomb. So whoever that cone was targeting, you're going to want to be the one to stand in front of that bomb in between him and the bomb, so he blows it up with the shotgun cone. And every time he does this, he's going to do a 180 of it as the second one. So the first one is gone, and as you can see, the one opposite 180 of him has spawned. So you also want to get in front of this one, and he's also going to blow this one up with the shotgun cone. Now, if you're one of the other players, or if you don't know if it was targeting you or not, it's always safe just to stand in front of the cone, just in between him and the bomb, just to be safe, because if you have an Inanna, it'll reduce all the damage, and you won't take any damage from the bombs being dropped or get any crazy meter or anything like that. Now for the second part of Showtime, it's usually safe to group together at 6 o'clock and then just run clockwise together. Try not to cut your target. So there's going to be these targets that spawn in the middle, and they're going to follow you. So if you're a faster class or whatnot, try not to cut your bomb across the players you're running with. As you can see, I kind of slow down and try to catch up to them so I don't cut them off and hit them with mine. If you are faster, it's kind of safe to lean inwards more, and you can let them, like the slower players, take the outside. And also, don't be scared to run in the fire. It's the same as the saws. It's better to take a little bit of damage rather than just insta-dying to a gimmick. And there's also a strat here to drop a Nineveh to deal some damage to him, but sometimes he does like a jump, or like if you don't time it perfectly, he'll do an attack, or he'll just like spin backwards or something like that, and he'll dodge it. So my advice for that is, if you're saving Inanna and you don't use Inanna during the first part of Showtime, use Nineveh as soon as you stagger him after the Mario 3 run. So Mario 3, you do the run, you stagger him, drop the Nineveh there for the damage. Now, if you're doing Mario 3, sometimes he doesn't always spawn the yellow circus balls, and sometimes it'll just be the turret. So I had put a note in during the Showtime playthrough. So when you're doing the Showtime playthrough, build whatever meter you're comfortable with outside of the Inanna ring. If you're doing Mario 3, it's just to have some meter, at least a quarter meter or half meter. He'll spawn the turret, and it's going to be the same as Mario 2. So there's going to be hooks from the left and the right side, and you're going to want to build your meter while dodging the hooks and whatever CC that the boss decides to throw at you. And also, it's a good thing to use the Q ability when you turn into a clown to break the shield on the turret. It makes it easier for your teammates to kill, especially if you're doing like an item level group or whatever. You'll have a easier time killing the turret if whoever turns into a clown uses the Q ability on it, which is the bomb. Now he's going to do a few more attack patterns and then go in. So our Mario 3 went in. We got blue for the curse color. You put B in chat for blue, so he knows to kill the blue balls inside. And he's going to laugh and then start the next Mario run, which is Mario 3. Now Mario 3 run is the same as Mario 1, except it has hooks with it. So this one takes the most practice out of the 4, in my opinion. So you have to be very patient, and you also have to be very confident in where you're going. The best tip I have is try to make it to the middle before dodging the first set of hooks. So the first set of hooks will generally have like a gap somewhere. You want to make it to the middle and stand to that gap so they pass over you, and then you can make your way across towards the boss by heading down towards the bottom just like the first run, and then there'll be another set of hooks coming from the top right. And the patterns of these hooks change, which is why it takes a little bit more patience in learning it. Sometimes people still die on it, but it's okay. Everybody messes up this run now and again. So now that you've made it this far, you have one more Mario gate to go. So in this group, I think I'm doing the Mario 4 run. So Mario 4 happens around 55 bars of health. So once you get him to 55 bars, he'll do the same thing again. He's going to spawn the clown turret, and then hooks are going to come across the map again. So I'm going to leave this in real time so you can see what it looks like. So sometimes he'll drop the yellow balls, sometimes he won't. But if he does drop them and you do need meter, they are available. As you can see, my meter's already high, so all I really need is the turret. So the turret's up, and when you get these debuffs too, make sure you kind of stay away from the party because you don't want to hit them and turn other people into clowns. So I throw the Q onto the turret to make it easier for my friends to kill, and I go inside. Now, since I'm inside, I'm going to tap out some tips here, and this is for the people running outside. So don't forget to hit G on your lever after you do the typing test. And if you're going to do the top one, usually it's nice to be like, hey, I'll take care of the top one. Usually that's like the more confident player. They'll be like, I'll do the top one. So they'll make their way to the top one. You can also go from the bottom side. If you do this, though, just make sure you steer clear from the bottom lever because you don't want to get stuck on the bottom lever's typing test while you're trying to head up top. Now, the saws are kind of a distraction on this run if you're outside, but try to focus on dodging the hooks as best as possible on this run. But still be careful, don't touch any of the saws because they can still kill you. Alright, so a tip for these Mario gates, since I'm in here, the best way to learn these, in my opinion, is still just go to Trixion, and then go into Trixion and learn the Mario gates. Learn at least 2 of them, and then whatever party that you're in, just say, hey, I can do Mario like 2 and 4, or like 1 and 3. And generally, the group is usually flexible enough to fill out the other 2 gates that you're not comfortable with. But I would recommend getting comfortable in at least 3 or 4 as one of them, and then 1 and 2, you can do that as well. The best thing would be to be comfortable in all of them, so you can just fill, no matter what group you're in, you can just do the Mario and you won't have any issues. It also helps to know all of them, because if you have someone in your group that's struggling and you're like, they called Mario 3, for example, and you wipe like 2 or 3 times because the guy just can't do Mario 3 because of ping or whatever issue they have or anything, you could just be like, hey, I'll do Mario 3. You can do an easier one, like give them like 1 or 2 or something like that. And you can take care of the problem that's GLing your group, yada yada. But from here on out, yeah, you just, once you're done with this, just kill any ads that appear. So any circus balls or, turrets or anything like that, you can kill them here because you don't need any more Marios. And he will enter the bingo phase from here. So my best advice to learn how to bingo is to play with the bingo calculator. So if you Google bingo calculator Lost Ark, the first one that should pop up is like the max roll site, and it'll take you straight to the bingo calculator. Play with that for a little while, and you'll kind of figure out how the algorithm works, and you can just learn how to bingo on your own without it. But as you can see earlier, the artillerist pinged the black square that he's on right now. So that's where the first bomb is going to go. And I'll slow it down so I can kind of explain how it works when we get the first bomb. So we're waiting for the first bomb, waiting for the first bomb. Okay, so the artillerist got the first bomb. So the way it works, watch closely up at the top. I know it's a little hard to see because I'm on the bottom side, but pay attention to where he's at. So if you get a bomb over your head, you'll hear like a detonating pinging sound. It'll go doot, 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 and it'll drop. So do not move from the square that you want to drop it on until that beeping is over and the bomb on the top of your head disappears. So he drops it there, and the way it works is if it hits a white square, it'll get rid of those white squares and they blow up in a plus shape pattern. So as you can see, he dropped it in the middle up there. So those two white squares that were there are going to disappear, and the two that had no skulls are there are going to have white skulls on them. Now for these hammers, they're going to have the arrows as indicators, and then you want to stay away from those arrows entirely until the hammers have passed because they don't swing right away. So once you get more confident, you can stand in certain spots and drop bombs where the hammers are going across and not worry about it. But my advice early on is it's not really worth dying because you can Inanna one of the messed up bingo patterns if you mess it up, because I think it's better to just use the Inanna if you need it and staying alive rather than dying for the bingo, unless it's like the last one. This is like in reference to like maybe like an item level group doing it or something. So every third bomb is what you want to hit 5 in a row with. So someone's going to get a third bomb anytime now. So here we go. The artist has gotten the third bomb, so they're going to want to make 5 in a row. When you make these 5 in a row, it's going to make a row of red bombs, and once you make the row of red skulls, I said bombs earlier, excuse me. Once the skulls turn red, they're locked on the board forever. They're not going to go anywhere, so if you stand on them or do anything on top of them, you're going to build meter, and even if you hit them with a bomb, they're not going to go away. So if you hit him with the bingo, it's going to take a large chunk of his health, and when he's in the stagger animation and all that, and you can just free reign open DPS on him for that whole entire duration. So now the map is going to get smaller. The things you want to keep in mind are where the bingo is supposed to go. So whoever's pinging the spots, make sure you go to their ping to drop the bomb if you have the bomb over your head, and just stay out of the dangerous stuff like the hammers, and if someone gets AoE on them, try your best not to get hit by them. Now, this group that I'm in takes 2 bingos to kill them. So generally in like an item level group, it'll take close to 2 to 3 like I was saying. So I'm the 5th bomb, so I drop it where he pinged earlier. So I'm the 5th bomb, and then the 6th bomb, which is the second, third bomb, if that makes sense, is going to be where he pinged, which is at the 3 o'clock spot. So we're waiting for the 3rd bomb right now. So every time he drops the 3rd bomb, he's going to teleport to the middle. So as you can see, he drops the 3rd bomb here shortly. And where the artillerist is, he's going to drop it and hit the bingo. So we know we're going to kill him here. And you can drop the Nineveh for like an extra bit of damage if you want, but it's always safe to keep in mind to keep Inanna on hand up until you know you're going to kill him, because sometimes people get a little overconfident and bad things happen. But yeah, that's all for this raid. I know this was a little bit of a longer video, but I hope this helps some of you guys in learning this fight, because Clown is actually one of my favorite raids. But if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything like that, feel free to leave it in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.